Hello, family and friends. This is Denzel with two L's checking in again. And I have some conditioner in my hair, so and that's what's going on in my head. I'm trying to get ready for this job interview later. You know, gotta pay these bills. Not out here asking nobody for nothing, no handouts or nothing. Not asking for no cash apps or anything like that. I possibly I should be asking for putting my cash app, my information out there to get paid, but I don't ever want somebody that I care about or somebody listening to me. You know what I'm saying? In a position where they may need that money again, because I'm just talking to my family and friends right now. And I didn't grow up with a rich family, so we're very rich and wealthy in knowledge and love and strength. But we're not poor neither. But money is not something that we should be just passing around amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? Unless we can do it without hurting ourselves. So this is the reason why I prefer to work over asking for handouts. And eventually people will get to the point where they want to pay me and they want to see me having money without being all in my business and everything, because that's another reason why I prefer to work, because the moment that a person gives you $1, majority of the time they good people, but 5% of the time there's people out there that's like, I gave you $1, so if you make one mistake I'm on your ass. And it's not with any care and concern. So I try to keep those type of people and that type of energy out of my life as much as possible, by all means necessary. Yeah. Also, I'm making tea right now. You can, I always would show you, but was cooking last night. Not, it's just me, so a nigga ain't getting up cleaning the entire house every fucking day. So I'm gonna try not to cuss. I'm gonna try not to cuss moving forward. But if you if you paying your bills, you doing the right thing, you stand out the way, you understand. It's like if it's not dirty or endangering my life, that shit can wait. But I'm making tea right now, and I'll show y'all. But you know what I'm saying? It's just me. I don't have nobody here helping me clean up. Not yet. So yeah. It's doing it by yourself is not always easy. It's fun, but it is not always easy. It's not easy. All this, but I'm recording this right. I got y'all. I want y'all to listen to me real quick. Why I got your attention? Because I want to talk about the homie Daniel Caesar. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Also, if you haven't today, please drink 2 16 ounces of room temperature water. You know, should be the first thing that we drink when we get out of bed, and we definitely should be drinking some more at 12 o'clock before we go eat lunch. So, you know, drink some water, please and thank you. That's gonna add just a plus to everything that you're doing. It's gonna help you look better. You're gonna feel better. You're seeing better. You're thinking better. Sex is gonna be better. That is the timer for my tea. So I guess y'all might see me make the tea. It's pine pine oak tea. Pine oak tea? Like the pine tea. Like the pine tree. It's just the bark and such chopped up to a point where I can boil it down. And it's really good for us. I suggest that if you you get a chance, go do some research about the pine tree. And if you have any pine trees around you, go do some harvesting because the pine tree is always giving to us. We just kind of ignore it. We step on its seeds and everything. It's very patient with us, and we're very disrespectful as humans, but it still loves us. So go invest in some pine and go love a pine tree or something of the nature. But yeah, we're gonna talk about Daniel Caesar today and why the homie got canceled. Why the homie got canceled. Why the homie got canceled. And this is a very, very important conversation. This is such an important conversation because we liked Daniel Caesar. And this is kind of like Tyra Banks on the America's Next Top Model, which was a fucking horrible show. She was like, "We were rooting for you. I was rooting for you." That's essentially like that same energy, that sad energy. When I made a list of why he was canceled, and this is why. But let me tell you what we liked about Daniel Caesar. He made this decent album called Freudian or some shit. I don't know. Something of the nature. I mean, Freudian or something of the nature because I do have older people, you know what I'm saying, who who be listening. And my dad would be like, "Hey, stop that shit." Like, how you gonna tell me to stop? You cussing? This is just how I was raised. I apologize for the cussing. This is just my nature. I'm trying to respectfully cut it down, but this is just how I talk. But I'm gonna try to continue to cut down and correct myself. That was my fault, saying cursing that last time. But he made this album called Freudian, and it was okay. You know what I'm saying? It was just like you can listen to it, you can vibe out, and if you ever get a chance, go listen to no, he's canceled still. That nigga still canceled. Homie still canceled. He made a CD, and me, I'm thinking, hey, this guy has potential. I like what he's doing. I like what he's talking about. I like the direction that he's going from what I can see, what I can survey. I want to support this young man. I don't usually give people a chance because I hate being disappointed. But I'm gonna give this young king, a chance. And I didn't catch on to him like before because he had another album or mixtape or something like that. So I'm not gonna be like I was a day one Daniel Caesar fan. I wasn't, but I was investing in listening to him. You know what I'm saying? He was in the playlist. He was on rotation. I was following him on social media, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Sharing his music and his message. Because from what I gathered at that moment, it was a good message. It was like if he continued to do what he was doing, he was going to live a long, healthy life and he was going to make a lot of money off of his voice and his personality and what he represented. These are the things that we see in each other, and this is the reason why we invest in each other. You know, like that's why. But on the other hand, like I was saying earlier, some people watch you because I gave you $1. So, so yeah, uh, I'm not judging him because I gave him $1. That's not why I'm watching. But a little bit, I would be insincere if I wouldn't say a teeny tiny small part of me, like 1% of my being, probably less than 1% of me was watching him because I'm like, look, you also might make a mistake. So instead of being the person that's watching you, waiting for you to fuck up, then blaming you, we're gonna be. I want to be like the fan that's respectfully like, no, everybody makes mistakes. You know, look, this is what we don't do in the future. Just like any other person that you would meet in society or the community. Like, I don't know you personally, but I definitely don't want to see no harm come to you or see you get hurt, type shit. Because I gave you $1 and I don't make bad investments. I want to see my investments grow and continue to thrive. I empathize with that part. It's just the negative part, you know what I'm saying, that I don't associate with. So we're watching him and we're cheering him on and we're seeing him go through his struggles, make mistakes, just like every other celebrity or any other person who has their life in front of cameras, in front of the camera. And again, I'm telling people don't judge him too harshly. And these are the things that I liked about him. You know what I'm saying? This is a black male. You're in front of the camera. Your life is on display. You doing it. Like, I personally couldn't be a celebrity because it was a white girl on the bus yesterday and she must have thought I was attractive and she took like, I didn't see her take the picture, but like when I seen her put her phone down, you know what I'm saying, I seen that she had her camera up. And the same thing happened when I was at the mall, right? Like, it was but this is not just me. It happens to women and people everywhere. Like, but mostly celebrities. There's weird people out there taking pictures of people all the time, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Some have good intentions, some don't. I don't want to entertain either one of them because I don't know what you're gonna do with that picture. I don't know what's gonna go on. And again, this is the reason why we defend black celebrities, because people take these pictures and they try to switch the narrative. And the biggest form of propaganda, the most prevalent form of propaganda, is not against the Jews, even though what happened to them was a very sad thing. It is tragic, but it has been undoubtedly against melanated black people. So, watching the media, being attentive, empathizing with this young man, putting myself in his shoes, thinking that there are a lot of good people out there, but there's also some racists out there that's going to try to destroy him solely because of his skin color. Not because he did something wrong, because of his skin color. And I liked him because he was black. I'm going to defend black people, not right or wrong, when they're right, when we're right. Because if somebody's out there killing and murdering innocent black people, you can't continue to let this nigga walk around in the city free just because he black. That's the same thing that the racists practice, except it's not racism because black people don't have like a system of law, jails, businesses that we can own, that we can, you know what I'm saying, deny any other race of people access to, or subjugate and oppress them. But they most definitely can do that to us. And when we put ourselves on a stage like that, we're putting ourselves on display so people can have a easier target to see. Like it happens on the surface level. Like we experience racism at the job all the fucking time. All the fucking time we gotta bounce back. But that's just the racism that we have dealing with people that know us. Imagine having people that ain't never met us, right? That we ain't never seen, we ain't never done, that hate our guts, that want us to perish. That's some hard shit to do. That's some hard shit to do because a person like me is just like, I end up fighting too many people, respectfully. I'm not no fighter, I'm a lover. But that's how they want that story to end. You get into a fight, you fight the wrong people, then bam, you done. Or you shut the fuck up and you keep moving and you keep dealing with this pain. Hopefully that one day it'll end. Hopefully the subjugation and the oppression will end. Being a celebrity. Hopefully at the end of the day this is worth it. Hopefully I'm strong enough to stand on my soapbox and nobody can knock me off. But there's people that you ain't even seen that want to come and just push you off. Hard shit to do. And I was like, any black person up there that's doing that and they doing the right thing, they got some talent that is just like, wow, I will support you. So yeah, those are the things that I like about Daniel Caesar. Number one, he's black. He's a black male putting himself on the front line to potentially either calm this war down and or be attacked. I respected that shit. I respected that shit. I respected it. I say respected in past tense because I used to. I used to. I used to respect him on that level. I don't know more. Here's why. I made a list of things why Daniel Caesar was canceled. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reasons why Daniel Caesar was canceled. You have to have messed up pretty bad. You have to have fucked up pretty bad to get to this point. Where a person can name a list of things that you've done. Not opinion, like, all right, you showed up to work 2 minutes late. We're going to give you an infraction for that. Not minor infractions. We talking about shit that people will fight you on sight for. We talking about major infractions. Major violations. Just to humanity as a whole. To the people who have been victims of racism and the people who are in the system of racism and they benefit, but they're trying to end the system of racism because the benefits that they reap aren't real benefits. They're superficial benefits because at any moment they can take all that they have from them because they understand how racism works. It's a monolith. It's like a stupid version of the Highlander, except like not the strongest and the best and the most qualified gets promoted. It's whoever I feel is the best. How the fuck you gonna feel somebody is the best? And white people, there's some white people that understand that and they allies. and they trying to end this shit. Not a lot, but there are a few, far and few. So, number one reason why Daniel Caesar got canceled, and these are in no particular order. I don't want to say number one was, but the first reason why I thought he got canceled was that I can come think of my mind is why are we canceling him? First thing I thought about was he asked to be canceled. This is not a situation where like this is not a normal situation where like Dave Chappelle is defending himself and people are mad at him because they like, look, GTQB, because we gonna just drop the L. GTQB, gay, transsexual, queer, and bisexuals are trying to cancel you because you said some shit that wasn't offensive to us, but we don't like how it makes us feel, so we're gonna cancel you. And Dave Chappelle saying, well, cancel me. This is not the same thing. This is not the same thing. This is a racist saying something about black men in particularly. I will get to the incident about what he said and why we canceled him. Because it's like, I think it's more than one thing that he did. But this is a racist, right? And remember what I said. There's white people too who trying to end racism. So, but this is a racist saying niggas be lying. This is a person who comes from European ancestry. She she passes for a Caucasian, and she might present herself as a person of color, but at the end of the day, it's not about being a human. It's about being a Latina or Latino. So they're not even black. They're putting their Spanish and Caucasian Neanderthal heritage before their humanity, right? These type of people. Calling us niggas, black people. And you're defending them. And you asked us to cancel you. That's like a child taking their parents' car without their permission. And the parent calling like, hey, what's going on? Where are you going? And the child's friend is like, nigga, don't worry about that. Because they joyriding with their friend in our car, in your car. And you as a parent, you're like, hey, look, I don't want to whoop your ass, but if you don't get back to this house immediately, I'm going to whoop your ass. And then that child says to you, well, whoop my ass. That's a whole different type of ass whooping when you ask for an ass whooping. I don't think you hear me. That is a whole different type of ass whooping when you challenge your parents to an ass whooping. Most sensible, reasonable people wouldn't, like, even if you had to fight your parents, you wouldn't be like, shit, let's fight then. You just be like, shit, It's time to fight. Hopefully, nobody ever grows up in an abusive household like that. But like, the point is, a sensible person wouldn't challenge somebody greater than them to a fight. There is nothing wrong with backing down and admitting that we're wrong or we made a mistake. Or if we're in a situation and somebody's bigger than us, right, and we know we can't win this fight, or there's more people than us and we know we can't win this fight, there's nothing wrong with listening to what they have to say and or admitting that we may be wrong. Especially, especially when this thing that's greater than us is giving us the opportunity not to fight. Matter of fact, they're being adamant. They're being, what is the word? They're pleading with us that they don't want to take us down. And that's what happened with Daniel Caesar. He looked us in the eyes and he said, y'all ain't gonna do shit. Y'all ain't y'all ain't about what y'all talking about. I have enough support, right? Right? I have enough support that I don't need you blacks. I don't need the blacks. And remember, there are white people, Asian people, Hispanic people who all were born into racist systems and they're trying to end that because they understand that racism isn't beneficial to anyone. It is the equivalent of societal cancer, right? And when people say things like and say things like what Daniel Caesar said, it makes it harder for us, good and great humans trying to end racism, to end it because there's always going to be a racist who's going to find a way to try to justify it. And if you put yourself on the side of the of our opposition, our opponent, our oppressors, then you are an obstacle that will be eliminated. Respectfully, this isn't a threat of violence for the most part. There's a small threat of violence. But again, we're talking about reasonable people, talking about people who have common sense, who have brains, and we understand that it is better to make an ally than to bury a soldier. No matter how much time it takes, it is way easier to make an ally than to bury a soldier because wars are costly, especially trying to fight something greater than you. No, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am. Do not do it to yourself. Do not do it to us. But Daniel Caesar asked for this. The next reason was he was defending a racist and racism. So again, I don't remember the young lady's name. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I got a P too. I don't remember the young lady's name, but again, she was a Latina lady who can pass as white, who was of European heritage, right? She Her ancestors came over here on a boat from Europe and did some unspeakable things to the natives, to our people, because black people are Native Americans too. I'll never forget that. her ancestors subjugated us in the most evil ways and heinous ways. And he got on camera and defended her. I just said earlier, there are people who were born into a system that they benefit from, right? Superficially. And they trying to end that. And what happens, right, when they confronting this racist about their statements like, hey, you sound real stupid. Why would you disrespect people like that? That you're setting us back. You're gonna have us in the times where people were dying from penicillin, now from lack of penicillin and such. Gonorrhea was running rampant. You had to wait months and months to get clothes because they were toiling on the cotton gin. Why would you disrespect a group of people that has done so much? Why would you say such a disrespectful thing? Oh, because your feelings was hurt because this one person hurt your feelings. So it's okay to attack an entire group of people that are minding their business. So right, this person born into this racist system trying to confront them, and they are doing their best. They're prepared. They're strong enough. They got this right. And they attacking the racism and the cancer head on. Then they have a person like Daniel Caesar come along and wittingly and unwittingly defend the racism. Now it's 2 against 1. Now it's 2 against 1. That's not a fair fight. Especially when we're fighting for the right thing. And I would never suggest that anybody put themselves in a position of danger where they might get hurt. The fight can be fought in a different way, in a better way. If sacrifices don't need to be made, don't make those sacrifices. It's just that simple. But now that person is in a situation where it's 2 against 1. And or the black person is just sitting down and not defending truth and justice, i.e. themselves and black people. So when the racist says nigga, right? Nigger with an ER. The black person is just sitting there not saying anything. And now the white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever the case, Eskimo person, right, is looking at this and they like, I don't want to say nothing because if they ain't saying nothing, I'm not going to say nothing. That is never a cool position to be in. Because that same person knows that if that was me and they were saying that to me, right, and I understood my history and where I came from and how this nation looks at me, that would be highly offensive because their ancestors oppressed us. So I need to step up and say something. But I don't want to risk saying something in front of these 2 people and then it's 2 against 1. They understand these things because they have a heart, a brain, and a soul. So if they're in a position where they're trying to end something that they're a part of, and the person that's a part of the thing that they're oppressing isn't defending themselves, it's going to be a lot harder for them to step up and do some fighting. Because faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. And people make it hard for us to do the good and great things that we need to do. And if we can get some help along there without hurting anybody, we should get that help and we should give that help. But never defend racism or racists. Because racist and racism always discards its tools when it's done with them. Every time. Third reason why Daniel Caesar was canceled. He didn't have anybody around him to stop him from saying the dumb things that he was saying. He didn't have anyone around him to stop him from saying any of those things. Matter, he had people, and this is the worst part about looking back at the Daniel Caesar videos, is he had somebody by him, right? He had a person by him. He had a person by him. He had somebody with him as he was sitting at the airport getting ready to board the plane, saying these heinous things about black people and to black people, defending a racist. And his friend just kind of looked at him and just was like, If he had people that loved him, that were educated about the world, about themselves, about our people, they would know. And you know what? I'm not even going to use that as an excuse because we have social media. There's no way, no possible way that they don't understand how offensive some things are in some parts of the nation. Namely, racists calling black people niggers because of the severity of slavery. There's no way his friend didn't know that. Especially on the internet. Twitter, Instagram, well, not Instagram so much. Twitter, Facebook. You can even go to MySpace and you can learn some stuff. But his friend sat there and let him destroy himself. He sat there and let him destroy himself. Why? You may ask. You already know the answer, because he was benefiting from that bullshit. That's why it's so dangerous to have yes men around you. He had one person that cared about him. One person who can counterbalance him respectfully. Not just counterbalancing everything, but like, hey, look, you going over the edge right now. You sound stupid. You're being offensive. Slow down. He had one person to tell him that. Go apologize to all the black people that you hurt. All the people that love black people that you hurt. Apologize to them. Because you hurt them. At one point, right, these people that you hurt, they were defending racism. They were fighting against racism. They were fighting against racism. They were fighting against racism. And it was 2 against 1. 2 good humans against 1 racist. And now, you made it 2 against 2. Because not only does he has a gang, it's literally a gang. It's a gang and a mob of racists. One of the weakest mobs you ever seen in your life, right? But they have one black friend that they can verify that doesn't believe that subjugating and oppressing black people isn't racism, and by definition, it's racism. He ain't had nobody around him to be like, hey, look, I like you. You are my friend. You are going to change the world for the better one day. But if you continue on the path that you own, you are going to ruin all the things that you have planned for your future. Nobody. Because you want to impress this racist. You want to impress racists. There's less racist people in the world than anything. And like that true amount of people who can practice racism is so small. Like it's less than the Jewish population. It's less than the Jewish population because you need to be able to go out, uh, murder people, get away with it. You have to also own businesses, not a business. You own businesses, right? That you can deny people access from. And you also have to be able to control the laws so you can subjugate black people, black, Hispanic, Asian people. The number is so small that the people who understand how this works know that they'll never rise up to the ranks of a Jeff Bezos, a Bill Gates, all these people because they were already not but they set them up to be that successful, right? They set them up to be that successful in the same way that they knock black people's feet from under them and try to knock them off the soapbox. They do that amongst white people. So why would I defend such behavior, especially when it's going to be unconducive to good health and wealth? Yup. So he was a bitch for that. He's a bitch for all of these things. But let me get back to the point. He hadn't had people around him to stop him. He had one person. One person. Didn't have to be black or white, Hispanic, Asian, Eskimo, alien. It don't matter. If he had one person that cared about him, like, hey, look, shut up. We would probably still be listening to his music right now. Go apologize, Daniel. He had one person to tell him that. Here's my next point. He promoted surrendering to our enemies. And this makes me so mad. This makes me so mad. It makes me so mad because we know the history of racism in America. We know the history of racism across the world. We know how white people were treated by black people. We know how white people treat white people. You can watch the crime channel and see how they treat each other. So why would you suggest in any form and fashion that we surrender to such savagery? So we can be mishandled and abused again? Would you suggest going back, telling the people who are telling the person who was robbed to go back to the people that robbed them? Maybe they got it right. No, you wouldn't. Would you tell someone abused to go back to their abuser because you know they're happy with their life, so maybe they're doing? We wouldn't. We wouldn't. If somebody was assaulted in the area, would you tell them to go back into that area because you know that is the best area for you? We wouldn't. So why would we say this to such a traumatized people who look like yourself? And Canada is still a very racist place. Canada is still very racist. So why would you suggest that? And this what made it so hard defending him. Because when people came to me and they was like, we did not people, when the internet started saying, we canceling Daniel Caesar. Daniel Caesar is canceled. He is done. Out of there. I'm like, man, we always trying to counsel somebody. We tried to counsel OJ. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what he did so bad before we start jumping to harsh conclusions. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what is so bad. Last time y'all said he did something, it wasn't so bad. He got on there and you said some dumb stuff. It was like, nah, he's defending a racist. He's defending a racist. That's one thing. The next thing is he doubled down on defending the racism. Made it a video. A very short, quick video. Very accurate, straight to the point. Nail on the head of stupidity video. I'm like, let me see the video. Hey, it's probably bad, but I mean, the baby shot a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So y'all ain't counsel him. So I mean, like, what the fuck did this nigga do so bad? They showed me the video, and it was bad. It was bad. It was not someone's head getting chopped off bad, but it was like, imagine if you watching somebody perform a self-castration. It's like, oh, I don't never want to see this again. It's like 2 girls, 1 cup was coming out of his mouth. It was bad. It was bad. But I couldn't turn away though. I was like, let me make sure that I'm seeing this shit. And that little moment right there, that was PTSD, because it was just like, oh shit. I did see somebody castrate themselves, and I did watch 2 cups, and I do remember Daniel Caesar saying that we should surrender to our enemies. And those 3 things are in the same category to me. All traumatic things that I will never see or unhear. How you gonna tell me I should surrender to people who murdered, raped, and castrated our families? These are the same people pooping in cups and licking it out. Something has to be done about you. So the next reason why he was canceled. He defended someone who never defended him. From my understanding, right, from what I remember, he did all of this hoorah for her. He put on a cape for her. He threw away his career for her, right? And she didn't never defend him back. This man's career has never bounced back, and he has never gotten any support for defending her racism. That's why you never defend racists and racism, because they always discard their tools when they're done. The moment that they think that you're not of use to them, they discard you. Remember, I told you, the whites, the Asians, the Mexicans, Eskimos, they understand this, because their goal is to make sure that they are all right. It's a monolith. She didn't ever defend this man. His career has never bounced back. He can be living in a shelter for all she knows, and she doesn't care. And that was that's the most damaging part about the Daniel Caesar uh, fiasco, because there were reasonable people who were coming out saying, "Hey, Daniel, look, we're willing to forgive you. Just make sure that you never defend this person or this type of behavior again, because they don't have your back. They don't have your back. They don't have your best interests." And Daniel Caesar looked at that person, looked at those people, and said, "How do you know that?" Not in a like interested way, but like in a offended way, an angry way. And then embrace the person who you're telling him not to fuck with. And then they threw him away like an old maxi pad. Never defend someone who's not going to defend you. Don't defend racism and racists. They don't love us. They don't like us. And if you can try to convince them to do otherwise, but they already know that they're doing wrong. So, if somebody's committing a robbery, you wouldn't be like, "Hey, robbery's wrong. Here's why robbery's wrong, because it says in the Bible. Also, if you read Winnie the Pooh, taking stuff ain't good because it hurts people." You can try to convince them that what they're doing is wrong, but before they committed this crime, before they decided to do this, they understood that this was wrong. Now, there's some people that you might be talking to that might stop what they're doing and change their behavior for the better, but 99% of the time, if they got their mindset to commit a crime, they gonna commit that crime, and racism is a crime against humanity. All right. Here's the next reason why people are committed to boycotting. People are committed to boycotting toxic things. Yes, let's not forget the the NFL boycott. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget the civil rights boycotts. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's the same as the civil rights, but the energy and the will is still there. It's still there, and just because something starts off slow, that don't mean that people won't stay committed to this shit and they won't continue to try to get rid of this cancer, no matter how long it takes. This is how committed people were. A year a year ago, a year or two ago, I was asking people, is Daniel Caesar uncanceled? And they pulled up all the receipts and all the videos about why he's still canceled. Hold on. I'll be right back. So they brought up the receipts, and I'm feeling kind of traumatized just thinking about this. I remember watching that video, and I remember him saying all of those heinous things to us, like we should surrender to our enemies. And I remembered that there's other people in this who were traumatized just as much as me, if not more. And they show that by holding on to this, educating people, helping people out when they have questions. And my question was, why are we mad at him again? And so much support and information had came up. Like it was several different people. That was like, oh no, sir, not today. We're not uncounseling this man, not this one, not the one that doubled down on his racism and still ain't apologized. Nah, yeah, we committed to boycotting toxic things. If you were toxic, you are harming our community. You in the public eye, we ain't gonna kick your soapbox from under you, but we will stop donating and showing our support. Straight like that. We won't let this go. We won't let this go. And the same thing with Doja Cat. But the thing about Doja Cat is, right, she has some people around her. They still were racist, but these racist people were smart. They were like, hey Doja, if you don't apologize, you're gonna lose all your money. And she was like, all right, I'm gonna fake an apology. I don't fuck with her neither. But yeah, we're committed to that. If you being toxic, the most toxic thing that a person can, well, one of the most toxic things that people can do is to cause unnecessary harm to people and then not apologize for causing that harm. Not only that, you blame that person for the harm that you cause. Got to get you out. Cancerous behavior, cancerous person. Another reason why Daniel Caesar got canceled. Another reason why he had no alternative forms of income. He had no alternate for like sources of income. From what I understood, this nigga had quit his day job and he was solely dependent on making music. That's already not a good sign. I know that some people believe that, oh yeah, I'm a celebrity now. I can't go to a regular job because there's gonna be too many people hating on me. And that's certain. That's true to a certain extent, but everybody's not Stevie Wonder. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not so talented that if you go out in public, you get mauled. You're not Michael Jackson. Beyonce. He had no other money coming in. It was very easy to cancel that dude. If all you depended on is these streams as a source of income to make you money, the streams that we're supporting you with, the advertisements that we're watching, because people figured out that they want to watch your videos, and the moment that they stop, they gonna stop coming in. Like the money's not gonna be coming in more as the money's not gonna be coming in the same as it was. The moment that they find out that people not watching you, you're not gonna be getting the same amount of money. Not gonna be getting the same amount of checks. because they're trying to advertise to us, the people who are supporting you directly and indirectly, because they know that even though we don't have money now, there will be a time when we will have money. And it's better to get our attention now than to try to get it later. And that's why they advertise to through celebrities and music, because they know that just because you down right now, you're not gonna be down forever. And if you don't got no other income and you depending on those people, majority of the time corporations don't give a fuck about us. So when you start declining in your sales and your views, your popularity, they're not gonna have no plan for you to get back on your feet and maintain your finances. It's gonna be a fuck you and bye type situation. And that's what it was. We as a community and society, we were like, oh, okay, damn you, Caesar. You think that these corporations got your back so much that you don't need us? Let's see them. Let's see. Let's see how well you survive in the Australian sea waters by yourself. Since you are so friendly with the sharks out there. Go out there and swim. Because you got it. No alternative forms of income. The next reason why was he spoke wrongly about something he had no knowledge of. I remember the video, and he started off the video like, I don't know why black people are so mad or whatever. I don't like watching the video because I hate looking at his stupid face. He said that we cancel him because he's ugly. And it has some truth to it. But that's not why we counseled you, nigga. You just hard to look at. That's not why we counseled you. I'm saying that because I don't like watching the video because that nigga's hard to look at. that, nigga, that nigga's face is so difficult to look at. It's like if somebody made a Muppet and the Muppet didn't make it to the show, and instead of like throwing the Muppet away, they was like, I'm gonna make my own show. And it was like, hey, this is an ugly Muppet, but it can sing pretty good. And they eventually later down the line, they was like, this is a stupid show. It's a knockoff of Sesame Street, and it's just uglier. But he started off the video with something like to the effect of, I don't know why black people are mad. Y'all call each other niggas all the time. Blah. And I was so mad because it's the equivalent of like when women call each other bitches, right? Like a white woman can respect. A white woman can be like bitch to a black woman, and a black woman can be like bitch to a white woman, right? But if a man said that, because the undertones, the body language, we don't register it the same way, she'll always and usually find that offensive unless she's actively being a bitch. And even if she is being a bitch, she still might find it offensive. So that is the equivalent of what happens with black people, right? When we said we understand what's going on. Also, black people have never subjugated black people in America anyway. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on in other parts of the world, but we have never subjugated anybody. We have been tools of the subjugation, but we have never been the people subjugating people. We have never been the ones that's like, hey, Blackie, get your black ass on the field. Like, hey, bro, you black too. No, I'm the slave master. Frederick Douglass. Never mind. Frederick Douglass owned slaves. So there's always an outlier, but for the most part, though, that one black man, you know, for the most part, we didn't own slaves. We weren't slave owners for the most part. There's probably some more, but yeah. So when we said we understand, it's like it's not me asserting myself as the dominant figure in this case. It's just me acknowledging you and embracing that the trauma that we both share equally. That's why I call you my nigga, because when they were murdering our grandparents, our ancestors, our aunts and uncles, this is alkaline water, just key lines. They called us niggas, and now we have elevated past that point, right? We can look back at this very, very traumatic moment, and we can make light of it. It's not so traumatic. So when we hear these things, we don't feel fear. We're not shaken up. None of that. So we can feel that when black people say the word nigga. We can tell the difference. And him being Canadian, you know, being exposed to a different type of racism, Canadian racism, you know, he probably heard a lot growing up. If I can't say nigga, nobody can say nigga. And hearing it so many times, you might think that yeah, that's the only way to end racism, is just to stop talking about racism. If some racist stuff happens to me, just don't talk about it. Just let it go. It never happened, and it breaks my heart hearing that. How can you speak on how other people are supposed to feel about their traumas and what they're going through? I'm not blaming you for being ignorant. I am blaming you for enabling the subjugation. When you say things like, I don't know why black people get mad when white people say nigga, y'all call each other nigga. If a woman was sexually assaulted by another human being, and then because of the sexual assault, when she was being assaulted, she was called a bitch by her assaulter, and then when she sees this person later on still without getting justice, and this person is calling them a bitch, and they snap on this person, society wouldn't blame them for defending themselves. And what's crazy was, we're defending you, Daniel Caesar. We're defending us. We're defending our black children so they don't never have to go through that mental, emotional, spiritual assault. And seeing the person who did this not getting justice, and then this person doing things that set off post-traumatic thinking and feelings inside of this person. We're defending you. We're defending us. We're defending the truth and justice. We're defending humanity. You're in the way when you say things Like, I don't know why black people get mad when white people say nigga. I call each other niggas all the time because that shows lack of understanding, lack of empathy, and that's always going to get somebody hurt. And having money only makes that situation worse. You're going to be speaking about how black people should feel, American black people should feel, Native Americans should feel about being called niggas. We should just stop it. We should just stop calling each other niggas because if the racists can't call us niggas, nobody should be calling us niggas because everybody knows if a racist says they gonna do something, you can trust them to do it. Like they ain't gonna be calling us niggas after we stop saying the word nigga. I know it's a lot of black people that's like, we should stop saying the word nigga because I look, I agree to you with some extent, but you also gotta remember that this is America and we gotta respect each other's First Amendment rights. If nobody is if nobody's words are causing immediate harm or danger, or there's not any threats, say what you want to say. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody is saying something like, "Oh yeah, let's go incite violence against said name or group of people," yes, they should be stopped. But as far as me addressing my associates and comrades as niggas, respectfully, that is none of your business and none of your concern what I say or how I feel. I address the traumatic things in my life, especially if I'm not harming nobody or harming myself. Um, the next thing was he counted his eggs before they hatched. And this is one thing that we as society, as humans, can never lose track of. No matter how good things are going, it can always turn left. And what's most important is based off our actions and our decisions, we can make things go left a lot faster. A lot faster. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. He saw the finish line. He saw the finish line. It was still a ways down. He saw the finish line, right? In this race of life. We're on this highway of life. And then instead of like staying the path and not taking those shortcuts, he saw the racists flying over the edge. He was like, hey, they flying over the edge. All I gotta do is just do what they do, take a shortcut. And he didn't know that the racists have a path already set out for them. We have a path set out for us too, but if we take the path that they're taking, they can throw obstacles up in front of us. Matter of fact, they can completely halt our process. They can take us out the race, going down their path. He saw that finish line. He saw that he could take that shortcut and hit came to a complete stop. Tires were on flat, all four of them. You saw the finish line. You saw the finish line. And instead of staying on course and doing what's natural and organic and being on the right side of history, you said that we should be on the side that we as a collective decided that they were wrong and we're trying to move away from this behavior. You said you want to go down that path because you see how it works for them, how it's been benefiting them. You want to take that same risk. Cayenne. Cayenne is to strengthen my immune system through COVID. It helps get rid of coughs. It stops the runs, IBS, aka diarrhea, and it's really good for our eyes. This is white oak. Just telling y'all about these herbs that I'm putting in here. This is this is better than aspirin. It also helps fight parasites and pinworms. So if you have an itchy booty, you need to get some white oak inside of you because you have pinworms. This is ginkgo biloba. This is a herb made for our brain. It comes from Asia. This is Similac medica, aka sarsaparilla. But yeah. Daniel Caesar counted his eggs before they hatched, trying to go down the path of his open enemies, trying to follow the same footsteps that they followed, trying to do the same thing that they did. And again, it never worked out. It never works out. The biggest examples that I can think about races being failures, and they still might try to paint one of these failures as success. Number one is Hitler. Hitler. He practiced racism against white people, other white people. You know, that thinking that I'm gonna be the top white. And the next person I can think about is Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was a complete failure. The only reason why he made it to presidency was because he was tall and he can fucking speak in front of crowds. But hands down, he has to be one of the worst presidents that we have ever had. Trickle down economics was one of the worst things that ever happened to society. But the thing that was most devastating was his treatment and him ignoring. No. His biggest failure was the war on drugs. Oh my gosh. Devastated black people. The AIDS epidemic started in his era. Ronald Reagan, in my humble opinion, is top 3 worst presidents that I can think about. Right? Even with that being said, the most successful of the races were still massive failures. You can look at the Gates family and look at their treatment and how they handled science and how far they set society back with eugenics. Why would you want to take that path? Why would you want to go down there? We have established that races and racism isn't beneficial. You see the finish line. You're taking shortcuts. And now you on flat. Matter of fact, you set yourself back far than what you really like thought. Just like Ronald Reagan, uh, Hitler, and fucking the dude that created eugenics that's in the Gates family, Bill Gates' granddaddy, Papa. So yeah, that's why Daniel Caesar's career was canceled. So I got to take this call. I love y'all. Y'all drink some water, and I hope y'all have a good day.